Folks, I've got great news. If you love war and death, which if you're a young person who uses the internet frequently or plays Paradox games, you probably do and are. Biden is invading Gaza. No, of course not. That's a joke. That's not true at all. The framing is deliberately dishonest. In reality, 2,000 troops have been prepared for deployment to Israel. Now, why are they there? To shoot Palestinians, I bet you're thinking? No, actually. These troops would be deployed in an advisory and medical capacity. These aren't soldiers. The troops would be administrative and logistical. Keep in mind that a majority of the people who work for the Defense Department are not like gun shooty shoot men. Genocide logistics? Oh no. I'm really sorry, guys, but I actually think this is a good thing. Let me explain. So, as we know, Israel is evil. Step one. Israel and the IDF, evil, genocidal. The IDF commits war crimes on a regular basis. There is no group less qualified to administrate the conflict in Gaza than the IDF. And of course, the IDF is currently the only institution administrating that conflict. I think that there is a very specific benefit. Where does it say the troops are non-combatant? Oh, sure. Here, from the Wall Street Journal article. Second. The U.S. military has selected roughly 2,000 troops to prepare for potential deployment. The troops are tasked with missions like advising and medical support, the official said, and they are from across the U.S. Armed Forces. They are not intended to serve in a combat role. The official said no infantry have been put on prepared to deploy order. So that's critical. No infantry have been put on prepared to deploy order. This is not like military base, oorah, tanks, let's roll out material. The troops are currently stationed both inside the Middle East and outside, including Europe. So these are troops that are already out there that would be redeployed. So I actually do think this is potentially a good thing. Not guaranteed a good thing. Potentially a good thing. And I want to explain why. Okay? So for one, again, the IDF are basically the worst group to oversee anything going on in Gaza. Having any group there that is not the IDF by default, in my opinion, is kind of a good thing. Because the more people are there and involved and present and looking at what's going on, the more eyes we have on potential war crimes. Also, as I understand it, the IDF operates with much less discipline than U.S. soldiers do. U.S. soldiers, of course, have committed war crimes, but all like internet memes and associations aside, the U.S. military actually does operate with an extremely high standard when it comes to rules of engagement. That does not mean they're perfect. That does not mean they don't do war crimes. That does not mean they don't kill. They do, but by the standard of militaries, the United States actually has a pretty tight grip when it comes to soldiers and their discipline. Again, a lot of people, they respond to that with, what about this story of war crimes? What about this story of war crimes? I know, but keep in mind, like, in comparison to, say, the Russian military, for example, a critical difference being, in the United States, war crimes are found out after extensive investigation of soldiers and their misconduct. In Russia, their soldiers just post TikToks of them murdering and raping people and dumping them in mass graves, and the Kremlin will go, dude, based, but also that didn't happen. Like, it's huge difference. Like, we literally, like, the IDF is so much worse. Okay, anyway. I think that having U.S. troops there in a logistical capacity could probably help to balance that out and put more eyes on the situation. Generally speaking, Israel is really resistant to having other people present because they don't want people observing their war crimes. That's why Israel likes to assassinate journalists, intimidate journalists, steal journalist equipment, cut internet to the Gaza Strip, keeping people from filming and uploading evidence of crimes and like videos of dead Palestinian children being pulled out of buildings. Israel does not want eyes on what they're doing. So that's number one. Number two, there is a very slim possibility that the big funny happens. The big funny would be the famously trigger-happy IDF, who often kill people at a distance, shooting a U.S. soldier. This would be politically complicated, to say the very least. Not an impossibility, I might add. The IDF has taken potshots from a distance. In fact, I think just one day ago, they accidentally shot an Israeli settler who was in Gaza. Like, they shot somebody from a distance, and that person turned out to be a settler. So if they accidentally kill a U.S. soldier, That would be the big funny. I'm sure you can understand why. That would lead to political complications. It would be content. Live streamers would see it and go, "Oorah." Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, do it for the Vine, is what I'm saying. Really, though, like, jokes aside, I'm half joking when I say that Israel might do that, by the way. I'm half joking. Half joking aside, I do think it would just be good to have more eyes on the situation. Also, keep in mind the reasons why those soldiers would be deployed. Biden clearly does not like what's going on right now. This is a very politically complicated situation. Biden cannot get any easy wins off of this. He's probably quietly cursing Netanyahu out from the Oval Office. Like, this is a really tough situation to have happen 1 year before a gigantic election. This is, like, not good at all. Biden does not like this. Biden did not wake up this morning and think, how can I help Israel kill Palestinians? He doesn't care, okay? What Biden wants is a quick resolution to this in a way that doesn't impact his re-election chances. Now, the IDF is perfectly capable of killing Palestinians on their own. Do you think Biden would want to send more soldiers over for the clear and explicit purpose of assisting in the killing of Palestinians in a way that nobody wants? No American wants Biden to commit troops on the ground to killing Palestinians. Nobody. The IDF is perfectly capable of handling the genocide themselves. The Zionists aren't calling for this because a lot of them are isolationist leaning. Like, nobody would want that. People might want Biden to interject in a reconciliatory or like assistance capacity. Does that make sense? Like, there is no political will for Biden to assist in the destruction of Gaza, but there is political will for Biden to send troops over to pull Israel back. And that, I think, is exactly what's happening right now. My guess is that this is a bit of a standoff. What Biden is doing is saying, hey, we're so pro-Israel that we're willing to send 2,000 guys over, Netanyahu. And Netanyahu has to be like, wow, that's so generous of you to send 2,000 people who might document our war crimes over. I'm afraid we'll have to decline. And then Biden has to go, oh, you sure? I'm really happy to help. Like, I think that's literally what's going on right now. Netanyahu probably doesn't want U.S. troops over because he doesn't want eyes on them. And Biden wants to send troops over because he wants to be evidently a part of the solution towards reconciliation and a ceasefire. Does that make sense? Do you guys understand? I don't know for sure why this is the case, but I think this is the best, or I don't know for sure this is the case, but this for me is the best explanation for why the White House is acting the way it is, where right now Biden is trying to argue for like opening a safe corridor and like de-escalation, but the immediate response from the Biden administration was like breaking his kneecaps, falling to the ground so he could suck Netanyahu's cock, right? Like, there's a very weird incongruence here, and I think a lot of it just comes down to Biden waiting for an opportunity to be an apparent part of the solution, but Netanyahu doesn't want him to be because Netanyahu just wants dead Palestinian children. Does that make sense? Perfect illustration? Yes, exactly. Biden's trip to Israel was intentionally not announced until the U.S. received commitments from Netanyahu on a humanitarian package. Sources tell Tyler Pager and me. Once Blinken got the assurances, he made the announcement to Tel Aviv. This is one of the things that I mean to stress when people are like, bro, Israel controls America. Dude, Biden hates Netanyahu. Leaving aside the fact that the other day we literally were reading up on like news reports on how Obama and Clinton were privately cursing out Netanyahu and both hated the guy. Like, and Biden certainly does as well. This is just a politically difficult situation that Biden is trying to navigate. Now, to be clear, none of this is intended as a defense of the horrific genocide-enabling immediate response from the White House. The immediate response to the White House was, yeehaw, howdy, howdy, Israel, do what you want. And nothing changes that, okay? However, I never believed that Biden was doing that because he's just gung-ho about killing Palestinians. I think that it's an incredibly difficult political situation, and he responded in a way that I think is morally abhorrent, but it was being done for optics concerns, not out of some principled alignment with Israel. Now that a bit of time has passed and Israel has racked up a larger body count than Hamas did by a significant margin, now Biden has the political leeway to go, haha, we're helping with our humanitarian aid and our 2,000 eyes on the ground, or I guess it's 4,000 eyes on the ground, actually. Do you think public pressure helped? Yes. What is happening right now, Biden's shift, is because he thinks he can, and he thinks he can because there has been a public wellspring of support, okay? Genuinely, Everyone who's gone to a pro-Palestinian protest, everyone who's been loud on social media, your help might have been microscopic in the grand scheme of things, but I really think it helped, genuinely. And the average Democrat is more pro-Palestinian than they are pro-Israeli, according to recent polling, too. So the fact that that shift has happened is an indication that Biden has to be considerate of Palestinians' human rights in order to, not lose Democratic support. Yes, the United States has begun negotiating humanitarian aid and a safe corridor. This is complicated, and I don't know exactly how it's going to go. This is probably still going to end with a lot of Palestinians dead. Unfortunately, the situation here is not like good. It's still horrifically. But I do think it's good that the Biden administration feels they have the optical leeway to start offering assistance to Israel in a way that actually seems to be beneficial to the Palestinians. Does everyone understand? This is very complicated, and I know I get clipped out of context a lot, but does everyone understand exactly what I am saying here? That this is not a defense of the Biden administration. This is like a snapshot into what seems to be some very complicated political maneuvering. Okay, yeah. Now, of course, keep in mind that I am literally guessing. Like, I'm guessing at political motives here. I don't know. We won't know for years until somebody writes a tell-all about the Biden administration. But that is my guess at what is happening. And I think that's a very reasonable and a very well-informed guess. So that's what I'm putting out there. I really, really, really hope it translates into something meaningful for the Palestinian people as well. It is rough right there, or right over there right now. And it's very possible that all the aid in the world from the United States, the humanitarian corridor, the humanitarian aid, the 2,000 soldiers, it's very possible that this doesn't amount to much. It's possible that Israel gets its way. I'm not sure. This is still very much an ongoing situation. If an IDF soldier does shoot a U.S. soldier, what would be the ramifications? You're asking, what would happen if we saw the big funny? There would be consequences. Dude, I don't know. That'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. Stop saying the big funny. It is the big funny. I'm not going to stop saying it. It'd be World War III. No, it wouldn't be World War III. It's not World War III. Not everything is World War III. It would lead, I imagine, to a very rapid shift in negative public perception of Israel. Because the IDF has just flat out killed like Western journalists, but usually they're Western journalists with funny names. Reuters journalist Ihsan Abdullah killed in southern Lebanon, 6 others wounded. Okay, you ask an American about this, you say, hey, did you know Reuters journalist Ihsan Abdullah was killed in southern Lebanon? And in their minds, they're just hearing like Durka Durka Muhammad Jihad. They're just hearing like bits from Team America or whatever. But if you have like an American soldier, white as me, named Dirk Jackson, get murked by the IDF from like 600 yards away or something, that probably would. Basically, what I'm saying is that the average American is retarded and racist. And for that reason, the death of a U.S. Soldier at the hands of the IDF would be treated much more seriously. And I think they'd let that slide, honestly. I'm not saying the U.S. government would do anything meaningful. I'm saying the population, the American population. A good example of this would be the American government did nothing about the Saudi murder of one of our citizens, but public opinion of the Saudi government did go down after that. I'm pretty sure that like the perception of the Saudi government as like bloodthirsty and monstrous massively went up after the killing of the journalist, even though the government didn't do anything. And the less popular Israel is, the less our politicians have to pretend to care about it in order to get elected. Every one of the 2,000 troops were all named John Smith. Yeah, what if the Department of Defense like deployment group sends 2,000 of the whitest, most Anglo-named individuals over there, and then was like, oh yeah, just chill around in like local clothing, Like you're not there in like an aggressive military capacity, so you don't need to wear your fatigues all the time. Just like baiting IDF war crimes. Try to be like, yeah, just go to like the northern Gaza Strip and like, just take a look at the rubble for a bit and, So yeah, 67 dudes with names like Jack Johnson and Alan Rickman or whatever. Wait, Alan Rickman is a name. John Jones has been killed. Breaking, John Jones has been killed again. Wait, don't kill Alan Rickman. So is Jack Johnson. Okay, but Jack Johnson is more deliberately generic than Alan Rickman. I'm coming up with names on the spot. U.S. soldiers set up a suburb barbecue with the Palestinians in line of sight of some IDF. Yeah. Yeah, just instructing 2,000, like, Alexans to go to the West Bank or something and just, like, chill out. just go to a settlement and get some sunbathing in. Okay, that's enough. We're being goofy about war crimes right now. We've never done that before, and we're not doing it. We're better than that. Okay, let's move on.